Well, cameras are everywhere. They're in our pockets on our phones and in our homes, on our homes, shooting out in the street, and they're also in the skies. Like these from ACHD, which keep an eye on the traffic all across the Treasure Valley. But there are other cameras, I should say, that are out there being used to track license plates. They're at stoplights and they're on the streets. But you might be curious, who's looking for this information that comes from tracking your license plate? And what are they allowed to do with it? Well, Idaho lawmakers want to know that too, and maybe control it a little bit. And they also want to change how many license plates some people are required to put on their car. Hunter Funk explains.
Senate Bill 1180 has passed the Senate.
Now heading to the House, the bill came with a lot of debate. So let's bring it back to where it was brought up in committee.
And fire away.
Senator Doug Okonowitz introduced the bill.
So today what we've got for you is a license plate reader bill.
Breaking it into two parts. The first section puts up guidelines for passive license plate readers. These are cameras at intersections recording and collecting data. So this bill controls who has access to the information.
In the state of Idaho, any political subdivision of the state.
Which would include law enforcement, city and county agencies. It also outlines it can only be used for official purposes.
Investigation of felony and misdemeanor crimes or traffic accidents or search of missing and endangered persons, for example. It can't be used for, well, anything else.
The city of Boise, though, is concerned the language of the bill wouldn't allow the city to conduct surveys or to enforce code.
And this would eliminate any use from code compliance or city clerk's offices that are actually using it for different types of parking things, whether it be at the airport, whether it being used for city employee parking or even parking around the city. City of Boise is not the only one who uses this technology for parking as well. It's used in municipalities across the state.
Okonowitz argues cities would still be allowed to use it because they're an authorized agency. Ask the Sheriff's Association about their thoughts on this part of the bill.
That's great because it mirrors our own policies.
But the second part of the bill, which would eliminate the requirement for putting on a front license plate if the vehicle lacks a front license plate mounting bracket, that's the part they don't like.
We are looking for license plates all the time to find suspects in all kinds of crimes, from robbery to DUI would be one of the biggest one that comes to mind. You can't identify a car that's traveling away from you nearly as easy as one that's coming towards you.
Those in favor argue new cars don't always have front brackets in place. Despite both the city and the Sheriff's Association asking for amendments, the majority voted in favor.
Vote carries by voice vote.
Sending the bill out of committee and onto the floor.
Senate Bill 1180.
Similar debates took place by senators, but despite the concerns, 25 voted in favor and 10 against.
The title is approved. The bill be transmitted to the House of Representatives.
Okay, so there were two other questions brought up about the bill. How much time agencies could hold on to the data that the license plate reader collects, which isn't included in this bill. And what if people decide to rip off their front license plate mounting bracket? This technically, Brian, would be the loophole, meaning everyone wouldn't need a front license plate.
Yeah, it doesn't make that determination, does it?
Correct.
Because again, a lot of these new cars, we get this question all the time. More and more cars out there without a front license plate, but there's just no place to put them on some of these new cars.
I will say I bought my car in North Carolina because I was there at the time, and I haven't had a mounted bracket. I've had mine actually sitting in my windshield, which you're supposed to put it on because that's the law.
That's the law, but this would change that if it goes through.
And the bill sponsor also says, if people are seeing that loophole, we'll fix it later.
Okay.
So,
no bill is perfect, we're told. All right,
Yes.
thank you very much, Hunter.